a tournament's worth sometimes for Nadal.
That's okay as long as you're hitting winners and you're being aggressive. I actually like the fact that Murray has more errors than Nadal, but he also has more winners.
Nadal. During this changeover, we'll see if the fireworks break out overhead. There's been all kinds of stuff going on around the stadium. The women earlier today in their quarterfinal matches had to live with planes in the air show flying again and again. And beginning.
They just made an announcement to the crowd about the fireworks.
Starting small.
No, it's definitely going to start coming.
There we go. Now they're broken out across the river.
Chris, it usually goes for about 10, 12 minutes.
They get their money's worth. You're right, BG.
See one of the tournament supervisors out on the court, so wonder if the players are going to wait it out.
You know, Patrick, when I was coaching Andre a couple times, you know, they chose to play through it. It's a pretty long time to sit out here. It's fairly cold, to sit for 10, 12 minutes.
Yeah, Rafa's got a towel draped around him, and Murray's gone to the shirt change.
I mean, I almost feel like if you're going to pause for 10, 12 minutes, you should have the guys go inside for a second.
How's the sound down there on the court, Brad? Is it pretty loud?
I mean, it's pretty loud. But, I mean, given my preference, I'd rather play fluid than sit out here in the cold for 10, 12 minutes and not play. And that was a big advantage for Nadal to get through that hole because Murray's got to come back out after this long break and serve.
Would you rather serve through the fireworks, though? I mean, it's kind of a pick your poison here.
Nadal's having a conversation with the umpire about it at the moment.
I mean, the minute you're scheduled on Australia Day in the night match, you know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's Government House in the shadow of those fireworks.
A big park across the street from the arena here where we have some concerts today.
Andy having a snack?
Sure. No shrimp on the Barbie, though. Probably not good mid-match. They don't do that, do they? They let a lot of lamb. They like their lamb here.
Also, too, we started a bit late, so, this usually comes later in the match, so it's earlier in the match. We started a good 30, 35 minutes late tonight.
You get the dueling displays. You got the little display off of Eureka Tower, downtown Melbourne, and then you got the bigger display across the river.
You need to work on the ones from the top of that building. I mean,
I'm not
that's
sure.
The middle. That's the little one, huh?
That's Eureka Tower. Yeah, I'm not sure anybody's watching that.
Okay.
What's going on over there? They even stopped the Ferris wheel during the fireworks. So.
I was kind of curious to see which one would get it. Murray's gotten up here, and he's already stretching. You figure, if you sit too long, Chris, you can get stiff in this situation. It's in the high 50s. It's pretty cool, a little bit breezy.
Brad, do you think that there could be a decisive moment in a set like this when we're in one of those lulls, as Patrick called it? The play hasn't been quite as fiery, and the games haven't been quite as competitive in the second set. Absolutely.
I call it the 7-minute strike. I mean, it just takes just a few minutes. You have a bad patch or somebody to raise their level, and it could be a 3-game difference, and there goes the set.
Do you feel that right now, Brad, that Murray has the same sense of urgency early in this set that he did in the opening set?
Yeah, he's got his game face on. And one thing that I found very interesting is a lot of times when Murray was doing his come-ons, they were over towards the Nadal camp.
Really?
So maybe that's why Nadal is so perturbed. There's been quite a few of them. I don't know if he has any, rooters in his section over there, because sometimes you get some extra tickets. But Murray has definitely looked over a lot over at that camp with some of those come-ons.
By the way, this Australia Day, just to give you a primer if you're not familiar, celebrates the arrival of the first ships from Great Britain, where they sent the petty criminals in the penal colony. Right.
The long trip.
They must have liked those criminals to send them down here. It's a nice place to go.
Yeah, they didn't know, I guess.
And it's 26th of January every year. And yes, in fact, this was a nation founded in terms of European settlers by convicts. Of course, the Aboriginals had been here for a few thousand years before that.
Nadal's got up now. He's starting to stretch a little bit, starting to jog around. I feel like if you sit for too long, you know, Patrick, I don't know about you, but...
No, definitely, especially when it's chilly out. I agree. I'm surprised they're still out there. I mean, if they weren't going to play, I would have thought they'd go into the locker room, maybe change all your clothes when it's chilly out there.
Rafa's doing his boxing thing, and jumping around in place with a towel draped around his neck, trying to stay warm, stay loose.
But the one thing, I guess, if they did go inside, you know, they would have to have, you know, the umpire or the linesman go with them, because you wouldn't be allowed. You wouldn't be allowed to have any coaching.
Right.
Yeah, but so what? They could send somebody in there with them, right?
Yeah.
The way they do in a bathroom break. The question might come up, you know, why shoot fireworks off over a tennis tournament? Why this part of Melbourne?
I guess it's a national holiday, so, you know.
That trumps tennis?
Yeah, I think so. You know? And this event's pretty darn big here. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's probably the biggest event that there is. It's certainly, for this country, it's the biggest event. When you talk about all the slams. Yeah. You talk about how big it is in the country. I mean, I think this is the biggest. You know, as far as how much the country just pays it, the whole country pays attention to.
Bigger than Wimbledon?
Close. It's close.
Some irony, of course, that, you know, Andy Murray comes from Great Britain, and that's where the Australians were linked historically, as prisoners being sent down here, and Australia is still part of the Commonwealth. Right. Darren Cahill likes to rant and rave that technically Great Britain can still control this country. It's mostly ceremonial. Right. They don't really exercise that kind of control. Not for the last few decades, anyway. But it's not that many Aussies that are eager to cheer for a Brit. Let's put it that way. No. Huge rivals.
Big rivalry.
Cricket and rugby and other sports.
The Ashes is what they play for every 2 years between England and Australia. The cricket is their hugest rivalry.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Aussies who will call Brits Poms. It's kind of the semi-derogatory nickname.
I even heard them on TV talking about getting rid of the Commonwealth flag. You know, changing the Australian flag.
Oh, because it has a Union Jack on it.
Yeah, but it sounds like that's not going to happen anytime soon.
But folks here obviously appreciate the tennis of Murray, even though there might be nations other than Great Britain that they'd want to see win this title.
Looks like Nadal's getting a little annoyed now. He's ready to go. Both guys are up. And
it usually goes, Patrick. I thought, remember last time I was in the coaching box looking at it, about 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're only at 7:17 now. We got the clock on.
Yeah. And Rafa should know that.
Both guys are sprinting off.
Okay.
Boy, you got to figure the linesman there. Here goes the lineman after him.
Yeah, there's a chunky linesman that took off for a full sprint as Fergus Murphy gestured to the locker, and you can't have those guys unescorted in there.
No. Make sure they don't get any coaching, but the wheel's going again now.
Oh, okay. There's a lot going on in downtown Melbourne.
I mean, it's very tricky in a tennis match, you know, and all of a sudden you have like an 8-9 minute delay, you know, on a cool night, you know, and the dynamics that we have so far. It'll be interesting to see who can come out after this, you know, less affected.
Well, you've seen momentum change in this kind of thing. I mean,
Uncle Tony's relaxed. He's got his back to us. He's talking to his rest of the camp there.
How did Thomas Muster find his?
Muster is there. You see him he's kind of in the center of your screen. He's got the gold sweater on, chewing on the gum there. Former.
Yeah, looks like he's just above the Nadal box. Yeah. He spent a lot of time down in Australia, Tom. I think he might be playing in the Legends doubles.
Oh, he is playing down here. Yeah. I just didn't know he was aligned with the Nadal.
I don't think I'm not sure he is. He might just be just above him there.
Oh, here comes the grand finale, guys.
All right. No, it's getting pretty good.
Rafa should have seen these. They have good fireworks in Spain. I was in Sevilla one time at the Feria Festival in the spring. The fireworks among the greatest I've ever seen. It's been on and on and on. So.
Better than New York City on July 4th?
I'm never home on July 4th. Okay. So we'll see. After 9 minutes and 16 seconds, they are back on court, and it's Murray that has to serve after this delay at 2-3 in the second set.
And Chris, when there's a delay of under 15 minutes, there's no knock up. You know, you just start right back in.
What's your prediction on how Murray will handle this? Maintain the intensity?
I think he'll be fine, yeah.
Okay. Right out of the box.